Welcome back, Scorpio. It's Lena. I'm grateful you're here with me today. If you've been feeling a quiet heaviness, like something old inside of you is ready to break away, you're not imagining it. Today brings a shift, not loud or dramatic, but deep and undeniable. The kind that doesn't ask for your permission, just your presence. This is not just about what's happening around you. It's about what's changing within you. An old version of you is starting to fall away. And the universe, it's not asking you to fight it, just to notice it, to let go gently and make room for something new to grow. Because as we move through today's energy, you're going to see the rebirth you've been waiting for isn't coming from the outside, it's starting from within. So let's walk through what that means for your heart, your path, your healing. You've stepped into a quieter space, Scorpio, not because life has gone still, but because something inside you is preparing to grow in silence. This isn't the silence of absence, it's the silence of sacred preparation. Just like seeds that lie hidden beneath the surface before they sprout, your soul is in a state of spiritual fertility. What feels like stillness is actually movement at the deepest level. And your role today is not to force anything forward, but to listen closely to what's already beginning to shift. You may notice that impulsive decisions feel especially off course today. That's not resistance, that's guidance. You're being asked to pause, to breathe before you speak, to look inward before you react. This is not a time to prove anything to the world. It's a time to get clear on what your heart is quietly revealing to you. When you slow down enough to truly observe, you'll start to hear the messages in your body, in your energy, and the way you react to people and situations. These small signals are not random. They're your intuition trying to get your attention. And this is where your real power lives. Not in how much you push through, but in how deeply you allow yourself to understand your own experience. Scorpio, you are gifted with the ability to transmute, to take what hurts and turn it into strength, to take what breaks and make it meaningful. Pain, for you, is never the end. It's the soil where wisdom takes root. So today, don't fear the emotions that rise. Welcome them, hold space for them. Because what you're processing now isn't just personal, it's sacred. And it's leading you somewhere more honest, more grounded, more aligned. Today's energy invites you to pause and reevaluate what you've been striving for, Scorpio. Not because your goals were wrong, but because some of them may no longer match who you're becoming. There's wisdom in knowing when to keep going, but there's just as much strength in knowing when to release. The universe is quietly asking you to look at your commitments, especially those related to work, ambition, or finances, and ask yourself, is this still aligned with my deeper purpose? If the answer is uncertain, take that as a sign to step back and observe. This isn't a day for impulsive leaps or rushed decisions. It's a day to think strategically, to map the terrain before making a move. You might feel a strange pull, a nudge toward a new direction that feels both exciting and unfamiliar. That's your intuition guiding you toward possibility. But here's the truth. The opportunity that's coming your way might not look the way you expected. It may not arrive with clarity or certainty. It may even feel too quiet to be real. And yet it holds potential, the kind that only reveals itself if you're willing to trust what you can't yet see. If you've been considering a change, maybe a career shift, a new project, or a different approach to your financial life, let today be the moment you lay the groundwork. Research, reflect, prepare, but don't rush into execution. The roots you plant now will determine the strength of what grows later. Remember, Scorpio, transformation doesn't always begin with action. Sometimes it begins with letting go of outdated definitions of success, of old timelines, of paths that once made sense but no longer feel right. And in that space of release, new possibilities begin to unfold quietly, powerfully, and on your terms. If you're in a relationship, Scorpio, today opens the door for honesty, not the kind that is loud or confrontational, but the kind that sits down beside you and says, let's talk about what's real. There may be feelings you've been holding back, concerns that have gone unspoken, or dreams for the future that haven't yet found their way into words. Now is the time to bring them forward, not to fix or control, but simply to share. When both partners are willing to be vulnerable, to speak without hiding, and listen without defense, something sacred happens. The relationship deepens, the bond strengthens, the walls between you soften, and in their place, you build something lasting. Truth. Of course, this requires courage, and it may bring discomfort at first, but Scorpio, your emotional depth is a gift. And when you use it not to protect yourself, but to open, you lead by example. If your partner meets you there, you may be surprised by how much tenderness and understanding can rise from a single, genuine conversation. But even if they struggle to meet you in that space, your clarity will light the path forward, whether it's toward deeper connection or the realization that something needs to change. Either way, you're moving closer to emotional honesty, and that is always healing. If you're single, don't be surprised if someone enters your field today with quiet intensity. Not flashy, not dramatic, but present. Truly present. You might not even notice them at first glance, but pay attention to the energy you feel around the calm ones, the ones who don't demand your attention, but somehow hold it anyway. This could be the beginning of something subtle, soulful, and real. Something that grows not through rush or performance, but through resonance. Two people recognizing something familiar in each other's silence. This kind of connection doesn't announce itself with grand gestures. It reveals itself slowly in shared glances, quiet understanding, or the way conversation flows effortlessly. If you're open, not desperate, not searching, just open. You may find that what starts in stillness could evolve into a bond deeper than anything you've known before. Let your heart remain soft. Let your energy be receptive. Because love, Scorpio, is not always loud, but when it's true, you'll feel it without needing a single word. Your body, Scorpio, is speaking, not through words, but through subtle signals. A heaviness in your shoulders, a tightness in your chest, a dull ache in your lower back. These are not just physical sensations. They're messages, invitations to pause and listen. Your physical form is holding on to more than you realize, carrying emotions that your mind may have tucked away, hoping they'd resolve themselves in time. But emotions don't disappear, they wait. And today, they're gently asking to be acknowledged. This isn't about being weak or unwell. It's about recognizing that your body is your first home. And like any home, it needs care, space, and quiet to heal. You may be feeling more tired than usual or more sensitive to stress. Instead of pushing through, give yourself permission to rest. Not out of guilt, but out of respect. You've carried so much, Scorpio. You deserve to release it. Start small. Brew a calming herbal tea, something with chamomile, lavender, or lemon balm. Let it warm you from the inside out. Light a candle and sit in silence, even for 5 minutes. Let your breath guide you back to yourself. Or if you live near water, a river, a lake, even a warm bath, let it hold you. Water speaks your language. It knows how to cleanse gently but completely. This is a day for emotional detox, not through effort, but through softness. Don't underestimate the healing power of doing less, of slowing down, of simply allowing yourself to feel what's been waiting beneath the surface. Your energy doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be heard. And when you offer yourself that kind of presence, something begins to shift. Peace begins to return. And slowly you start to feel like yourself again. Not the version of you the world demands, but the truest version. The one who is whole even while healing. Today, Scorpio, the energy within your family or close emotional circle may feel heavier than usual. Not necessarily in a way that causes conflict, but in a way that stirs old memories, unresolved emotions, or long silenced truths. Something may rise to the surface, perhaps in a conversation, perhaps in a quiet realization. It might come unexpectedly, a comment that hits deeper than it should, or a familiar silence that suddenly feels loaded with meaning. This is not just about the present. It's about the weight of what's been carried across time, through generations, perhaps without ever being named. You may find yourself caught between the instinct to withdraw and the urge to speak out. But this time, Scorpio, don't run from what you're feeling. This isn't confrontation for the sake of conflict. It's a chance for clarity. And you, of all signs, know how to face the uncomfortable in service of transformation. If you're being called to say something that hasn't been said before, say it. If you're being asked to set a boundary that feels overdue, honor it. Your emotional depth gives you a kind of perception others may not yet see. And with that comes the potential to change the pattern, not just repeat it. You might be the one who senses what others have ignored, the one who dares to name what's been kept in the dark. That's not a burden, that's a gift. Because when you choose honesty over avoidance, you create space for healing, not just for yourself, but for those around you. And even if it feels isolating at first, even if others don't fully understand your truth, trust that your courage is planting the seed for more authentic connection in the future. This moment may not resolve everything. Some family stories are long, layered, and slow to unravel. But your willingness to show up, to feel, to speak, to see things clearly is part of a much larger healing process. You may not see the full ripple effect now, but it's happening. And with time, the honesty you lead with will echo through your family line like light breaking through heavy curtain. So breathe deep, stay grounded, and remember, you are not just healing your own heart, you are helping to rewrite the emotional inheritance of your lineage. The emotional landscape today invites connection, but not with everyone. Scorpio, your energy is precise, intuitive, and intense, and not every sign knows how to hold that with care. But today, you'll find a particular resonance with two signs that speak to different sides of your emotional nature: Cancer and Capricorn. Cancer, like you, is ruled by the emotional realm. But while your waters run deep and mysterious, theirs are nurturing and reflective. If you spend time with a Cancer today, you may feel a quiet sense of being understood without having to explain yourself. There's comfort in their presence, not because they try to fix your feelings, but because they allow you to feel without judgment. Their softness doesn't make them weak, it makes them safe. And in that safety, you may find a space to open up more honestly than you expected. Capricorn, on the other hand, offers you what you often seek in yourself: grounded structure and emotional containment. Where your intensity can sometimes feel overwhelming, Capricorn helps you bring shape to what you feel. They remind you that emotions, while powerful, don't have to be chaotic. In their steady presence, you may find clarity, not because they understand everything you're going through, but because they know how to stand beside you without being pulled into the undertow. With them, your passions find purpose and your vulnerability finds protection. As for the energy that surrounds you today, it comes with a color, a frequency that mirrors what you're moving through. Deep burgundy. This is not a soft or superficial shade. It's the color of transmutation, of raw emotion being distilled into wisdom. It symbolizes depth, resilience, and inner power born through surrender. Let this color guide you. Wear it, visualize it, or simply keep it in mind as you move through conversations and decisions today. It's not just aesthetic, it's energetic. And as you walk through this emotionally rich terrain, carry this simple mantra with you: I release what holds me back. I open myself to be reborn. Say it slowly, whisper it in stillness, write it down if you need to. This isn't just a sentence, it's a promise to yourself, to your process, to the version of you that's ready to emerge on the other side of release. And as we close this message, Scorpio, I want to leave you with something gentle, something you may not hear often, but deeply need to remember. You are not lost. You are becoming. The path you're walking now is not linear. It's not always bright, but it is sacred. You're in a cycle of shedding, not because you failed, but because your soul is making space for something more truthful to rise. This isn't the end. It's the in-between, the quiet, sacred cocoon where old versions fall away and new life begins to stir. What you're experiencing now may feel confusing. You may sense something ending without yet knowing what's beginning. That's okay. Let it be unclear. Not every transformation comes with a roadmap. Some arrive only with silence, stillness, and a deep invitation to trust. You don't need to push forward today. You don't need to rush to rebuild. The universe isn't demanding answers from you, only your presence, your willingness to show up with honesty, your courage to stay with the process even when it's slow. That, Scorpio, is power. That is healing. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. If this message met you where you needed it most, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Let this be a place where your voice is heard, your heart is held, and your truth is welcome. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe because we are walking this path together one day, one reading, one moment at a time. Until next time, Scorpio, stay soft with yourself, stay rooted in your truth, and above all else, trust the quiet unfolding that is happening within you. You are not behind. You are right on time.